The views and content expressed on the following program are provided solely for informational and entertainment purposes. They do not constitute legal advice. A podcast is not a substitute for retaining a competent, licensed attorney to advise you on your specific legal situation.
Break the business, place work and work is play. Power into creators, have fun along the way. Break the business, doing what it takes. Celebrate success and learn from the mistakes.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is time for Break the Business, where we empower indie creators and have some fun along the way. I'm Ryan Kairalla, and it is a pleasure to have you here this week. Ooh, I'm in a good mood. I am over the moon. My sports teams are doing great sports things, and so I got a big sportsy smile on my face. Some of you viewers and listeners who are watching this over our live streaming partners like volume.com or YouTube or Twitch are probably saying, hey, Ryan, old buddy, old pal, quick fashion question. What's with the hat, dude? And the answer is, I'm repping the U, baby. University of Miami. My Miami Hurricanes are in the college football playoff. We got the very, very last spot, but we're in, baby. It doesn't matter how you get in, just get in. And we're in, and so I get to celebrate. I get to be happy. I am a U of M alum. I am a U of M faculty member in the business school. I have many different relationships with this fine university, and I am so excited that I get to spend my holiday season rooting for them in the college football playoff. I know y'all are rooting for the Hurricanes too, and so let's enjoy that together. We're not, there's no Texas Tech fans out there, right? Or Georgia fans or Oklahoma fans. We all want the Canes to win, right? Very cool. Here to break down with me in excruciating detail all of the information about this very important football game that's coming up is our absolute top shelf college football expert, knows everything there is to know about the sport, our co-host this week, Katie Zaccardi. Hi, Katie. Oh, did we lose Katie? Hello.
Can you see me?
I don't think there's our two shot.
There we go. I was like, I don't know if I'm in the show or not. And
that made two of us.
I know a lot about college football because I had to move my birthday party to accommodate last week's stupid football game on Saturday, the IU game. So
like you wanted to have this birthday and there were enough IU fans in your life?
Believe it or not, yeah. Just so terribly random. As longtime listeners may know, I'm from New York and I live in Nashville, but there's a good amount of people from Indiana and Nashville. And I was going to have, it was my 30th birthday on Saturday, and I was going to get this, a Les Mis sing through. Yes, I know.
I would have come up for that.
You are the second person I know who did a sing-through of Les Mis for their 30th birthday. That is so weird.
Except I didn't because basically what happened was it was going to be on Saturday night, Les Mis sing-through. I had people like ready to fly in for it. It was going to be a whole big thing. And then a couple weeks before, when it was looking like IU was going to make it to the championship
college football playoff.
There we go. And my friend came to me very lovingly, and her boyfriend's went to IU, is a big fan, and was like, Katie, this might be happening. And I just need to tell you because I think the guys will come, but I don't know if you want them watching football while you are playing both Fontaine and Eponine in the performance of your life. So I said, fine, I'll be cool and I'll move it. But in rescheduling my party, a bunch of stuff just fell through. People, my Jean Valjean could no longer be there. And how can I do Les Mis without Jean Valjean? It became complicated. So I will be doing that, I guess, for my 31st birthday. Not as eventful, but we will still make it happen because I am determined to still do a Les Mis.
That sounds absolutely amazing, Katie Zaccardi. Look, I had this whole bit that I was going to do with you. We were going to talk about college football, and obviously you don't like college football, and that was going to be the bit. Ha ha ha! I don't care about any of that anymore. I want to talk about your Les Mis party, which sounds incredible. Like, as much as I love college football,
yeah,
musical theater is even higher on the ladder for me.
And I am very glad to hear that.
And look, I did watch that IU game, and I'm telling you, I would have blown it off for the opportunity to be like your Jean Valjean or your Javert. I would have done like 4 characters in One Day More if I had to.
I didn't even have a Javert, so I can't believe I didn't tell you to come. See, this is why it's good though, because I was still missing a Javert and like a Madame Thénardier. Like it was, and yeah. So we're gonna do it, and you're gonna be Javert, and yeah.
I mean, you were missing a Javert, and like you got a buddy over here who has like the worst singing voice of all of the friends you know. Like, I'm Javert.
Isn't it obvious?
I mean, like, or at least like what everybody thinks Javert is after watching Russell Crowe do it in that movie 10 years ago.
Yeah. No, bring me a prisoner, 24601.
24601. So mean. The man has an Oscar, damn it.
Wait, not to be like way too chronically online, but have you seen all the videos of the guy who impersonates Hugh Jackman as Valjean?
No. I have to see this though.
Oh my God. I don't even know if I remember his name, but Lauren, I'm sure if you search on TikTok, like Jean Valjean, Hugh Jackman impression, there is one guy who has just tons of videos of basically him doing a Hugh Jackman impression. And it's just all the vibrato that he does like in the movie. So like, I can't even do it. I will butcher it, but it is.
And I love Hugh Jackman enough that I can love him for how skilled he is, but also like make fun of his vocal things that he does. And, you know, both of those things can be true. Producer Lauren, if you can find one of those, I don't know if Katie gave you enough clues to find it on TikTok, but you're usually pretty good about this. Feel free to break into coverage at any time, Producer Lauren, once you have that guy doing Hugh Jackman as Jean Valjean. That sounds wonderful. Okay, so it sounds like we have a year to replan your Les Mis party.
We do.
I will come up for it. That sounds amazing. Like, I would love to like be in a room with like 11 other people doing One Day More. That sounds like a treat. Who you should also invite to this party is our guest coming up in the second segment. We're going to be joined by Leanne Binder. I don't know if she's a Les Mis fan, but I mean, who isn't? But here's what I can tell you about here. First of all, Katie, Leanne can flat out sing. She is a really, really talented blues rock artist. Tons of acclaim, tons of praise. Like, you go listen to her catalog, you're going to be incredibly impressed. But also, she comes from an opera background. Ooh. So, you know, it might come in handy for your Les Mis party. There's a lot to work with there.
We can use that.
I think she just might make the team. All right. But yeah, she's going to be coming up in the second segment. Really amazing story. I'm excited to chat about her. Before we get into that, before we bring her in for the interview in the second segment, I wanted to talk to you about a couple things. First, Katie, since it has been... Wait. Oh, did producer Lauren find Hugh Jackman? Do we have the Hugh Jackman
I found it
TikTok?
forever ago. I was waiting for your go.
Oh,
Here we go.
Begin, please. Oh, except it's muted.
4601, Mary's look so cute, wrapped round my finger, my twisted humor. Look down, my honeybee. Come get Jean Valjean, too bad, cause that won't do it for ya. Walk in and bring him home, that for ya. Soft skin and One Day More, that for ya. I know I Jean Valjean it for ya. That morning, who went by it for ya.
Oh,
Maybe we should screen these first.
It is really so silly, but it cracks me up.
Was that Hugh Jackman as Jean Valjean singing Sabrina Carpenter?
Yes.
I put that?
That would be correct.
Yeah. I would absolutely listen to a whole album of that.
Yeah, so good. And just in case you guys were wondering like why I wanted to do this in the first place, it's because I realized I was turning 30 and I was going to age out of playing Eponine, which is like my dream role that I never got to play. So the whole purpose of this is to fulfill all of our like childhood dreams.
I was going to ask
Everyone's
who you
invited.
would play at your party. You can
Yeah,
make
I was
Eponine
going
work.
to
I'm down
play
for that.
Fontaine and Eponine because obviously they die. So there's no conflict there. So I was just going to play them both. Otherwise, I'd be sitting and doing nothing for half of the show either.
That's
which way.
true.
So yeah, and I
Yeah.
will be playing both whenever we do it.
That's exciting. Oh, what a cool party idea.
And to give credit where credit's due, it appears the name of the person was Joey Morof. To give
All right.
credit where credit's
Thanks,
due.
Joey.
Thanks,
TikToker.
Joey.
Excellent. Okay. Well, speaking of TikToks, Katie, one of my favorite franchises when I'm on TikTok is to see what you're up to. You have great advice on the platform, and the algorithm is very kind to me in that, whenever you put out something new, it gets right to the front of my For You page, which I very much appreciate. I don't know what I have to do with my algorithm to get more Jean Valjean as Sabrina Carpenter, but I'll talk to the folks at TikTok about that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to play your most recent video that came out a couple days ago, I think, because you had some great advice for artists on it. Producer Lauren, do you have that one for us, please?
Really mean, but I want you to think of one person who is less talented than you, who has what you want. I know you can do it. No offense to them, but I know you can do it. And I often think that as creatives, we put ourselves in boxes of like, that's too far-fetched. Let's say you want to get signed or you want to release an album or whatever. And it feels too far-fetched. It feels like you have to be better. It feels like it's just like not something that you can do because it's scary, because it's what you really want. But the thing is, people all around you have it, so why can't you? You just have to believe that it's actually possible for you. This is going to sound really mean, but I want you to think of one
dig
person
that. All right.
who is...
I dig the insight there. It's, first of all, I love in all your, like, you look so comfortable in all your
I know.
videos. Like,
that was like a divinely inspired video where I was like, I'm like on my couch untangling yarn. I have to record this and post it right now. Otherwise it's never going to happen.
I think a lot of creators are plagued with just crippling imposter syndrome, right? And I think it's hard enough to achieve the kind of success that a lot of creators want to achieve. And that the one thing you don't want holding yourself back is saying, well, I'm just flat out not good enough for these things. And I think it's nice to be reminded, like, you do it in sort of a mean way, and you openly admit it by saying, like, there are people less talented than you that have achieved more than you. And but like, that's true. Because the requisite amount of technical skill that you need, the minimum technical skill you need to achieve great success, or at least like pay my mortgage success as a creator, is a lot lower than some of the most talented people you know. And by the way, that's not just limited to creative endeavors either. You talk to most like elite level athletes. A lot of them will say something like, I wasn't the best football player on my high school team. A lot of like top scientists will say, I wasn't the smartest kid in my class. Like there is a certain level of skill and technical proficiency that you need to achieve in something, and you got to practice for it. But, once you get there, it's everything else. Yeah. And, all the other skills that you need to build, like your marketing skills and your networking skills and everything else, or just your grit and not giving up. And one of those things, I think, as you note in your video, is like, you have to just, be able to give yourself permission to say, okay, this is good enough on the technical side. I don't need to like hide myself away from the world until like I become the very, very best at this thing I'm trying to do creatively.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many factors to it. And when you told me you wanted to talk about this, I just pulled it up real quick and I saw someone commented like, oh, I just have to believe. And I'm like, fair, because the believing part is very hard, arguably sometimes. But I wanted one of my favorite things is like posting videos like this in ways that are blunt or kind of like grab your attention. And so I'm truly not trying to be mean or hurtful to anyone in saying like, there are people less talented out there, because obviously like art and talent is subjective, but I think that we are often our harshest critics, and we often hold ourselves to really, really high standards. So it can sometimes feel like we can't allow ourselves to have certain goals because we don't think we can achieve them until we've hit some like threshold that we set internally. When the reality is that is often not true. Meaning you might be holding yourself back because you think you're not good enough or you think you're not ready yet, when the truth is people who are on the same level or maybe even a little bit lower than you are getting all of the things that you want. So why are you holding yourself back? And I also think like this sort of came to me because since moving to Nashville, I have, of course, met some people who are like smaller, just getting started indie artists who are signed. And down here, a lot of people are signed to publishing companies, like more so over labels. A lot of people start with publishing companies,
especially in Nashville. Yeah.
Yeah, in Nashville in particular. And I remember talking to one girl and I knew that she got her deal from another friend who literally just was like, hey, let me set up a meeting. As easy as that. Like he had a connection, or he was signed, set up a meeting for her. Now she's signed. And she signed as a writer. And I was asking her if she has to write for a lot of other people or if she is mostly focusing for her own stuff. And she was like, yeah, my publishing company just really believes in me and is really supportive. And like, they just want to see how my project does. And I'm like, damn. And then I'll be honest, I checked out her stuff and I was like, okay, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. And is she 5 bajillion million quadruple times better than me or this other artist I know or this other artist I know or this other artist I know or this other artist I know? No. So point being, I'm not saying this to put down anyone. I'm just saying this to say there's a lot of good people out there, including you.
Yeah.
And you just have to believe that it's possible for you.
And yeah, and it comes down to that mindset, right? Because when you come across people in your life who maybe you don't think have the skill you do and are further along than you can adopt one of two mindsets. The first one that I think most of us are inclined to adopt, whether we want to or not, is jealous and, being a hater.
Yep.
And, it's who you know, or just it's dumb luck. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
And that's not going to get you very far. Whereas if you can take the Katie Zaccardi mindset of just going, well, if they can do it, I can do it. If they have found this path, then I can find this path too. I just need to maybe make some changes or just hang in there, have the right amount of grit, but it's possible. And that should be something that's encouraging for me and not something that just brings out the jealousy in me.
Yeah. And I think that if you are experiencing jealousy, that is a really, really, really good internal indicator of what you actually want. So, and I had this experience too, where there was a creator that I really like. She's actually an herbalist, and I love her stuff. I like still buy her herbal tinctures, and she like made a pivot to do music because it was something that she used to do for when she was younger, and she set it aside to do her herbal company, built up this big company, made a shift to do music. And she just did it. And it was just very cool watching her make that pivot. And I remember feeling a pang of I can't believe she's doing it. I almost don't even want to watch her content because it's annoying. It took 1 second of reflection to be like, oh yeah. So I'm just jealous because that's what I want. To some degree, that is what I want. And once you realize that, you don't have to be a hater. You can just see that as inspiration that somebody is doing exactly what you want to do. And that means it's possible for you too.
Amen. I think this segs well into an article I read in Hypebot this past week. We're getting to that time of year towards the end of the year, and I love it when all of these music publications or entertainment and artist advice publications just go to the easy New Year's resolutions for creators articles.
Yeah.
And, it's lazy, and I'm the first to admit it, and all these publications just use it to fill inches in the column, but I eat these up. I love these articles. And I think, for as much as we sort of dunk on the idea of New Year's resolutions and, oh my God, I'm going to break my resolutions by January 15th. I think it is important to take the end of the year, reflect on what's happened, and figure out ways to start off the new year strong, particularly because for a lot of creative professionals, you actually do get some time off toward the end of the year. A lot of artists slow down a bit around the holidays. The music industry certainly slows down a lot around the holidays. Maybe you're playing a New Year's Eve gig or something, but it is a quieter time for a lot of people, so it can be a good time to reflect. And I saw in Hypebot they had a great one of these New Year's resolutions for artists articles. And I wanted to go over a couple of these with you, Katie, get your thoughts. A lot of these play right to your strengths as a coach and as a mindfulness expert and things like this. The article talks about one of the resolutions being in 2026 to choose a North Star goal and let it shape everything else. From the article, quote, instead of piling on a long list of ambitions, release more music, tour more, practice more, get better mixes, pick one big defining priority for the year. Maybe it's releasing your first EP, playing 12 more shows, or booking yourself a short tour, or building a true community around your music. I love this as advice because it doesn't just mean, at least as I'm reading this piece of advice, that you're only trying to accomplish one thing. But instead, set one big goal, which to meet, you are going to have to accomplish a lot of little things throughout the year, many of them being the things that you probably would set as small goals for yourself anyway if you were setting a bunch of goals. But at least this way, you're working towards a destination by the end of the year, which I think helps keep you focused.
I 100% agree. And what's really interesting? I was just on a call with my group coaching cohort right before this, and I was literally telling them, okay, pick one specific goal that you are really, well, I said project, not goal, but same, that you are super passionate about and like really feel excited to get out there. Not just to make goal setting clearer, but a lot of them are currently trying to work through what we just talked about, like imposter syndrome or like lack of confidence or worried about what people are going to say about you and people pleasing, that kind of thing. And I was saying that we're going to use that goal as like an anchor to process through those things, because I honestly think that it's a lot easier to work through the imposter syndrome when you have something that you are standing behind 100% and so excited about. So that's like, I don't have much else to add there yet on that. But I think it can be twofold in that not only are you clarifying your goal, but I also think that when you know what you're working towards and you're really, really enthusiastic about it, it becomes a lot easier to begin to process through any negative beliefs or limiting beliefs you have, because you have like an anchor of something to kind of that you want to show the world, so that it's motivation to like really work through and get past those things. Does that make sense?
It does. I love that. I love that perspective. And I think, it helps keep you focused. I just, like trying to say, I'm going to do these 12 things by the end of the year. It sounds like a great way to not achieve any of them.
Yeah.
But to have one big thing and, create like the little rungs of your ladder along the way to get to that big thing, you might be pretty pleased with how much you accomplish. Another great resolution from the article talked about how you can practice as a creator. The article says, quote, create a sustainable practice routine, not a punishing one. Your musicianship won't suddenly transform because you promised yourself you'd practice 2 hours every day, but it will transform with a routine that's realistic and repeatable. Try setting a minimum baseline, like 15 minutes of focused practice or writing each day, and let anything above that be a bonus. So I'm not an expert in psychology by any means, but I do know that there is a lot of literature that supports the idea that if you want to build a habit, if you want to exercise every day, if you want to learn a new language, do it every day, even if it's for a few seconds, right? Just tell yourself, I'm going to do this for 1 minute each day, and just commit to that. And that way you have an unbroken streak. So you don't get discouraged because you break your streak. But also, if you do it for a minute, you're probably on most days going to do it for more than a minute. But if you tell yourself, even if you're just not feeling it, if you have no desire to practice that instrument or no desire to write that song, if you can just literally do it for 60 seconds every day, then you're doing it every day, and you're going to wind up practicing a lot more than if you were to say, I'm doing this for 1 hour a day every day. Because then by the third day, you're not going to do it for an hour. You're going to have failed in your goal and say, well, screw this. And then there goes your resolution.
Yeah, I like that advice. And I think I definitely know a lot of people who come to me kind of feeling the pressure that they put on themselves, but then like being too busy or tired or burnt out or whatever to follow through. So I always like to add in with it that you can do it for joy too, and not just to like make your fingers bleed or your vocal cords want to cry. Like if you're feeling stressed about the practice, like, I don't know, you can have a cheat practice. You can have a cheat where you're just playing Christmas songs or songs for fun, or you're learning a cover that you'll just makes you happy, and then call it a day. That's still practice. That's still getting your reps in.
I dig that. Makes perfect sense to me. And again, it gets into that idea of like, just put points on the board every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's, very little, if it's picking up that instrument, playing a few notes, but that way you have an unbroken streak. My Duolingo 1,450 day streak is a testament to that.
That's crazy.
It's pretty bonkers. That owl's got a chokehold on me, man.
What are you learning?
Spanish. I mean, I wouldn't say how much I'm learning, but I've definitely gotten much better at my Spanish than I was 1,400 or something days ago. And so, I do appreciate the psychology behind just do it every day, even if it's just for a little bitty bit.
Yeah.
Last piece of advice here from this article that I know you would adhere to as somebody who cares about musician wellness. Quote, protect your mental and physical health as part of your career plan, not separate from it, part of it. That means rest, boundaries, financial mindfulness, breaks from the algorithm grind, and saying no to things that drain you. Touring and other artistic activities over the course of a year can lead to burnout if you're not careful. Your creativity is not a renewable resource unless you treat yourself like the instrument you are. The most successful artists in 2026 are going to be those who prioritize longevity over constant output. I am sure that this is a piece of advice you have to tell your clients on a regular basis. And if you're anything like me, you have to tell it to yourself on a regular basis, even as you're telling the people that you are working with.
Yeah, that is truly so well said. I love the way they said that from the financial health to like the mental, physical. So good.
Yeah, you got to take care of that stuff, particularly in this line of work where the risk of burnout is so high, because all of like the classic burnout causes exist for creative professionals, right? You are in a field that is very stressful, can often be very psychologically, physically, financially demanding. Couple that with the fact that you're also doing something that is really fun and that, gets your juices flowing and enriches your soul, and you feel compelled to want to do it all the time, especially when you're in like a groove where like, oh my God, the ideas are flowing. And then you've, been, writing and playing music for 36 hours straight, and you want to do it, but you're also burning yourself out because you still have to take care of yourself. Yeah. Even though everything's telling you, no, keep doing art stuff because I'm so excited right now. You still have to take care of yourself.
And I'll also add one more thing that's just a theme I've been seeing lately in my clients, which is a lot of the people I work with, at least, and I would imagine a good amount of the listeners on the show probably have another job, whether it's a full-time job, a part-time job, a freelance work that they do. Like, you might not be doing music full-time. And if that's the case, there's also likely busy seasons. You might be in one right now with your other job, like wrapping up the end of the year, trying to get things ready for next year. It tends to be at least a few weeks of busyness. And I was having this conversation again with my group coaching girls where like they were just feeling a lot of pressure and guilt around like not practicing, but then also not resting because they have to do their other job. And then if they rest, they can't practice. If they practice, they can't rest, and vice versa. And I just want to remind everyone that there are seasons for everything, and it will ebb and flow. And if you're feeling really chaotic and busy right now, that's okay. Prioritize yourself and your rest, and know that that season will eventually be done. And you'll probably have a season where it shifts back more to being able to put a much heavier emphasis on music and like not have to stretch yourself so thin trying to do it trying to do it all at 100% capacity all the time, because that is literally impossible. So
Right on. It is good to take breaks, even 2-minute ones, while we get ready for our guests. We're going to take a quick break around here. After that, we'll be joined by Leanne Binder. I'm really excited for this chat, Katie. Don't go anywhere, people. Keep checking out Break the Business. Break the Business is presented in cooperation with Ryan A. Kairalla, PA. Ryan A. Kairalla, PA is a law firm providing transactional entertainment legal services, including contracts, business formation, commercial law, copyright, trademark, and more. Ryan A. Kairalla, PA, Miami, Florida. rkpalaw.com.
Streaming services for Break the Business provided by LEK Entertainment. LEK Entertainment is a full-service entertainment company offering everything from consultations to full-scale events and productions, including audio and video productions, voiceovers, staged theatrical productions, script and music development, and streaming services. For more information, visit lekentertainment.com. LEK Entertainment wants to help you bring your story to life.
Thanks for supporting Break the Business. If you have a question or topic that you want us to discuss, email us at breakthebusiness@gmail.com. You can follow the host, that's me, on Twitter at Ryan Kair, and you can follow the show at the BTB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and on all major podcast platforms. And now, let's get back to the show. Welcome back to Break the Business, everybody. Ryan Kairalla here with Katie Zaccardi. One more quick question for you, Katie.
yes.
About your Les Mis party that got
Miz gonna come
canceled. Of course, because I'm enraptured by this. I think it's such a cool idea. And like, I'm just bummed that I live in like culturally bankrupt South Florida where like I could never find all of the people I need to like come to my house and do the sing along of this show.
Yeah.
But you know, in Nashville, sure. But what I'm trying to figure out is like, yes, I'm a musical theater and college football fan, but like for the most part, like that's not a Venn diagram that has a lot of overlap. You're telling me that you have enough Les Mis fans that actually said to you, hey, I can't make it because as much as I love Les Mis, I love college football more?
Great question. Not quite. How do I put this? I have a lot of very loving friends. Most of them are actually not musicians down here, but a good portion of them do love Les Mis or were willing to learn it for me. However, there was a subset of good friends who do not care about musical theater, but still love me enough to have learned it if it was going to be required, who do love football more. And who maybe do love football slightly more than me. But I'll tell you what the caveat was. When we couldn't do Les Mis, I did have a karaoke roulette party, and everyone was fully participating in that. I can tell you the rules on our next show because that was very, very, very fun as well. And everyone was happy in the end, so it worked out. But no, there was gonna have to be a little bit of arm twisting for some of my friends, but they were gonna do it anyway.
I love this even more. So, like, I was just because you're a musician, so I figured you just like had a bunch of music friends that, and you're an NYU person. I figured like it's pretty easy to find like musical theater dorks in that particular alumni base.
For sure,
But like what you're telling me is that this wasn't like, oh, I'm going to get my musical theater friends together. This is, I was conscripting my regular friends against their will to sing along a very difficult and vocally demanding musical. Like,
but here's what
this ain't You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. This is a really hard musical you're making your friends sing.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'll tell you what, though, when I started telling people about this in July, no exaggeration. And when I would tell people, like non-musical theater people, I would have so many people be like, oh, I love Les Mis. I wish I could be in Les Mis. Oh my God, I used to sing this song when I was a kid. And I was like, perfect. So my running theory is that like way more people than you think are secretly musical theater nerds, including many, many, many of my friends. Not all of them, but many. And so it was a little bit easier than you would think for non-musicians, but still somewhat going to be challenging, but I was up for the challenge, and so are they.
I am sure of it. All right. Enough of our silliness. Let's bring in our guest this week. She is an acclaimed blues rock artist who BBC Radio called, quote, the greatest blues voice we have ever heard. Our guest is currently touring the Midwest, and her new EP, I Got Something to Say, is available now. And you can find out more about our guest's work by visiting leannebindermusic.com. We are happy to welcome Leanne Binder on to Break the Business. Hello, Leanne.
Hi. I want to come to the Les Mis party.
You're invited, Leanne.
Of course.
You're there.
I'm in.
Clearly, these people are going to need the help.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
Pick me.
Yeah, you're hired. You're in.
Like-
You can have as many solos as you want.
Like it's gonna be like you and Katie just carrying the rest of this cast
Perfect.
of people who just want to watch, Ohio State, Indiana.
But Ryan, don't you know that's exactly what a bunch of theater kids want, is for all the attention to be on them.
God, that's so. God, you know that population so well, Leanne. Thank you so much for being on the show here.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for having me.
So not only would you be a great fit for Katie's Les Mis party, because like if anybody listens to your music, they know that you have a spectacular voice, but you actually got your start in opera. And so I imagine you could bring some of that skill set to bear in this party. From what I'm reading, you actually got accepted into a college level opera program at the age of 12. Haven't we all? So, I mean, what got you interested in that genre of music at such a young age?
Okay, so first I auditioned there with Tomorrow from Annie. So I didn't know I was an opera singer then. I
mean, that's like La
wanted to
Boheme,
sing.
basically.
Truly, all the high E's. But I went down there. I was just singing so much at the house that my mom luckily was aware enough to say, maybe we should see if she's doing something wrong. We don't want her to hurt her voice. So they took me down to the school, and they took me in a room, and I sang scales. I didn't know what I was doing. And they're like, well, do you have a song prepared? And I'm like, yeah, it's, Tomorrow from Annie. And they're like, do you know what key? I'm like, yes, F major. And they're like, and I don't know why I knew that, probably because I counted the flats or something. I don't know. Anyways, and then they put me in the hall. And I thought, well, I don't know. Am I going to get voice lessons? And they talked to my parents, and Dr. Raridan came out and he said, listen, if you do what I tell you to do for 1 year and you don't give me grief, I will give you over to my wife and you can study with her. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay. Like I was in. And we started, and the first thing I sang, I got this yellow 24 Italian song and aria book that I think everybody in the world sings out of. And I sang Nel Corpio non mi sento, and I didn't sing in English until I was 16 or 17.
Is that another song from Annie?
It is.
I think I remember her singing that one in the end after she gets adopted.
With the dog. Had a lot of times they cut that out, but yes, it's the song she sings to Sandy. So I really did. I just had a really kind of big voice for a little girl, and I fell into Italian very easily, and it just kind of stuck. Like I didn't go, oh, I want to sing opera the rest of my life. It was just, you were classically trained. The people that I fell in with, that's what they did, and that's kind of how I ended up there.
Yeah, it really does sound. It sounds like something you almost fell into, which is
I did.
hilarious to me, because like opera I think of any genre is one that like people have to really like devote themselves to and be purposeful about, like, this is what I'm going to do. And you walked in and sang Annie, and are studying with some of the most accomplished opera.
That was the last time I ever
world.
sang Annie.
So
it was like,
and obviously you're a rock blues singer now. So something happened between then and now. And I think what I read was that like you transitioned out of opera eventually because it was harming your voice.
Okay, so what happened was when I was 16, I auditioned for a university to major in performance. I got in performance, in voice. Back in the day when I was doing it, you could only major in performance and be in opera. That's what the school allowed. So I went into there. I was 17 my freshman year of college. I came from a very, it's called Lamperti technique. It's built on starting very small and working big from there, and a lot of breath support. And they taught a very different type of vocal technique there. And they pushed my voice and rearranged techniques to, and I don't know, if Katie knows, like sometimes when you start singing and you can't get to things, it gets in your head and it gets worse. And by my second year, my technique had been so turned around and I had lost my high E's and F's that were normal for me. And it was very, very, disheartening. And I came home to my voice teachers that I grew up with. And I came to my lesson and I'm like, I can't sing. I can't sing. And I sounded kind of rough and gravelly. The first thing they did was send me to get a laryngoscopy, and thank God my voice was fine. The doctor's like, I don't know how there's no damage there, but there's no damage. And then she agreed to take me back. Mrs. Raridan said, come back. I can't promise that I can fix this. But if you go back to that school, you'll never sing again. So I left and I went back to what I started with when I was 12 and had to relearn everything. And, I ended up way more of a mezzo than a like coloratura soprano. And I just wanted to sing. Like I was only 18. By the time all of that had happened, I was still only 18 years old. And I loved rock and roll naturally. And I just kind of fell into that because I had to sing. I couldn't not sing. And opera wasn't going to be there.
And so you found, it sounds like you didn't just find blues and rock. You found something that was already there for you. This was always part of the soundtrack of your young life. And this event inspired you to bring it to the forefront.
Yeah, I really, I don't think that I ever set out to be the opera singer, but I know I probably would have gone more into musical theater through all of that. Because really, Les Mis, there's a certain voice that it demands. So I've always liked that kind of music, but I always liked Freddie Mercury and Queen and any of those kind of really big singers. So it was always a part of my circle. I found Robert Plant. Like, I can't even lie, but I found Led Zeppelin and I was like, that's what I'm going to do.
and boy, you do it. And the adventures you have had along the way, just like reading your biography and just the life you've lived on the business side of things, doing this as an independent artist, traveling the world, picking up quite a few battle scars along the way that are pretty wild. I read that you had a song of yours stolen. I mean, as a lawyer and a copyright dork, that's something that definitely raises my interest. What happened there?
My entertainment lawyer stole my song.
Whoa!
Ryan!
Whoa!
I had to hire another entertainment lawyer to come after him for disbarment.
Whoa!
To get the sync licenses on this song. Yeah.
Holy
okay,
cow.
how much can you tell us? Because I want give us the tea like you're a colonist dumping it into Boston Harbor. I gotta know.
So I had this.
I love law and I love gossip. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, I'll give you some dirt. I'm not going to use any names. As far as the first entertainment lawyer, and I had fallen in with him as a young girl. I was, shopping albums, and I had done like a 4-song demo that I was trying to get to Doc McGee, the whole kind of thing. Anyways, we had stayed in touch. And then jump a couple of years later, I had these songs, and I knew that I thought I had something. So I called him because I didn't know anybody else. So I pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, do you remember me? He's like, yeah. So I have this song. I went down to where he was from and I performed these songs. And we worked out a deal and I got some investors and I did another album. And as this album was getting ready to release, which did not have the song that he took on it, I get a call and my friend's like, do you know that your song is on YouTube as the running song for a documentary for Barack Obama?
What?
No, it was nobody in his camp. It was a movie about, it was called Do You Believe?
Yeah.
And I go, what are you talking about? I go, it's not even finished. There's scratch vocals on that song. There are scratch vocals on that song, and he put a gospel choir with my scratch vocal.
With your vocal, so this wasn't a re-recorded song. He took your actual demo
That's crazy.
and threw a gospel choir behind that.
Yeah. Yep.
What?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
What?
So
Oh
I know. I was in Chicago at the time at a Grammy convention that they do, and I met a really nice man, and he said, I have an entertainment lawyer friend that I think you should really talk to. I go, I don't know what to do. I didn't have the money to fight any of this. I didn't know what sync licenses were at the time because I didn't know. I had no experience. So I called my new entertainment lawyer, and she was very, very kind. She's no longer with us. Her name was Linda, and she's amazing. And I told her this story. She did what you guys. She's like,
I mean, it's just so brazen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, normally when this story happens, like they re-record it, they change enough of the words, like they're but like this is just we're just gonna just
took the song.
Like,
He took-
like when people say
track.
like they stole my song, they don't mean it literally. You mean it literally.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
They took the song, and my friend Linda called and said, this is not how this is going to go down, and we're going to get the sync licenses on this. Long story short, she called me, she goes, he is a piece of work. I'm like, oh, I know. I go, thank God you're you.
Did he ever like have an explanation? Because like I can't imagine he just went, finders keepers. Like what did he think? Like why did he think that what he was doing was okay? Did he give any kind of rationale?
I never spoke to him again.
Oh my God.
Linda called me and she was like, I think he thought I would just go away. Like I don't think he thought I had the money to fight him, and I didn't. This woman, God bless her, is very, very, very powerful woman, and I go, I can't afford you. She goes, this isn't about affording me. She goes, this is about doing what's right. She goes,
Linda.
She goes, I'm going after him. Off camera, I'll let you know who she is. She's amazing, and she's, like I said, she's no longer here anymore, but she's a good third generation.
Well, because she's in heaven, obviously.
Yes, entertainment law, and I owe her a lot. She taught me a lot about the business.
Like she's an entertainment lawyer in heaven, just being like, where are the rest of them?
Yeah, right.
It's so lonely.
What the hell? So yeah, that was a true story.
That's so crazy. Like I have heard wild stories of artists who have had their IP stolen by various people. It's never been an entertainment lawyer who should know the law, and it's never been like actually taking the master recording on top of the musical composition. Like the only thing I can say to the viewers and listeners out there is, for something like this, like if you don't want to be one of these statistics, and I'm not saying this is a foolproof way to get around it, but when you know, before you give this music to an entertainment lawyer type person or any third party outside of your own circle, register that copyright so that you can get all the legal benefits. It's a lot easier to find a lawyer to defend you if something like that happens. But even then, good God, like how brazen.
Yeah, it was all registered. It was all copywritten. He never said a word. I don't know how he thought I wouldn't. If my friend wouldn't have called and said, I think you're on you on this movie. And then it was on like ABC and it was on BET.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, you must have just
That's
thought
nuts.
that you wouldn't figure it out. Like you wouldn't be watching what it was on and that he could just do it under the rug. Wow.
But it's just so, it's so bonkers. It's so bonkers. Like why not cut you in on it? Be like, hey, I got this sync opportunity. These Obama people really want to use this song. I'll be your
No,
sync
he
agent.
was-
I'll take a piece of it.
He did the movie. He funded the movie. It was his
It was his movie. Come on. You
Yeah.
have got to be kidding me.
Where?
Oh, so like
It was his movie, Leanne.
trying to get it done cheap and said, I'm gonna plop this in and not pay Leanne.
Yep, that's exactly what he did. It
And
had
then-
nothing to. Yeah, it was him.
I'm lightheaded.
Also, can we talk about how many jobs this man has, apparently? Movie producer, filmmaker,
Thief.
Yeah,
thief,
yeah.
entertainment lawyer.
Circus master.
Oh my God.
He's a real.
Goodness
He's a piece
gracious.
of work. Mhm.
Indeed. All right. So thank you for that.
Yeah, sure.
What a wildly spectacular story. Over a decade of doing this shows and interviewing hundreds of artists. I've never heard anything quite like that before.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
Spinal Tap. My life is Spinal Tap.
Well, because this story is just like one of many crazy adventures you've had as an independent artist and like doing this on your own, finding this success on your own, getting a lot of respect and acclaim along the way. What does it mean to you to be able to say, I'm an independent artist, I've done this my way? Like, is this something where you take great pride in it? Are you like, man, if there was any way I couldn't be independent, I would have preferred that? Like, what's your belief about you being independent?
I think what it comes down to is if I wanted to keep working in music, I had to do it. There wasn't anybody that was going to do it for me. So I either quit, which was never an option for me, or I became smarter. And I educated myself and I learned, and you brush your butt off and you're like, all right, I want to go to England. Okay. So I got on the internet. I started throwing music out there and I booked my first tour. Now I did get held up in customs because I didn't know that you needed, like work permits. So they put me in a room for like 4 hours.
You're like,
Like,
I'm
drilling me.
here.
I'm
I'm
like
ready to sing.
crying. Like, no, I rolled pennies. I pulled out like money. I'm like, I swear I'm just here to see what I can learn and do. And they let me in. And then the next year I got on festivals and then I'm like, oh, so it's just, I don't know, just, I wanted it so bad. I'd just do anything.
You were not deterred by either copyright or immigration law to
I
achieve the
did-
things that you want from this world. I love this.
I didn't know it was a thing. No. Pretty soon, they opened up our suitcase because I was flying right after 9/11. They opened up the suitcase and here's all these like CDs shoved in there and like a little notebook with like, hey, call this guy. He owns these clubs. Just all this stuff. And they're like, are you here to work? I'm like, no, I'm here to find work. They're like, well, you can't do that. I'm like,
Oh, then I meant to say I'm here to see Big Ben.
yes. Isn't there a dungeon or something I should be looking at? So, I just wanted it. I wanted it so
Yeah.
bad. And now I'm at a point where I have some really good people that I'm working with that have made things a lot easier for me. And it's nice to build that kind of a team, to do that. But yeah, there was no stopping me. I was very, very focused on, I didn't know where I was going, but I was going to go there.
Katie, earlier we talked about your TikTok video where the theme of it was, there are people less talented than you who have gone further than you have. And so you should be inspired by that because it means if they can do it, like there's a path for you as well. I think Leanne's story has a similar thread to it, except it's, there are people who have experienced more adversity than you, who have gone through more tribulations than you have professionally and have achieved great success like Leanne has. So if they can bounce back, so can you when you have setbacks, right? Like there's a lesson there, Katie.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, my story is not that unique. I have a lot of friends across the world that have been very close to the ring. And it's fallen through. There's more of us, I think, than the people that actually get the ring. You know what I mean? It's about the music. It's about the love of what you do as an artist that drives me. Like if I made no money at the end of the day, I would get up, I would grab my guitar, I would sing because it's what I am.
Hell,
and I think most artists are like that, we just do it.
I want more people to find out who you are. Can you, before we get to our final question, can you tell us about the new EP? Why should we be so excited about it?
Oh, the new EP. I didn't realize it was going to be an EP when I did it. I just started, because the business changes so much daily. I can barely keep up with it. So it was all about, hey, single, hey, single, hey, single. Pretty soon I'm watching this thread of thought and consciousness run through these songs. And I realized that I'm working through stuff that maybe I've been carrying around for a long time. And a very good friend of mine said, you should put out an EP so people can at least have something at the shows. So I kind of put that together, and that's how I Got Something to Say got born, because every song in it, if you listen to the lyric and you dig through the stuff, some of it's very positive and very like, be that person and stand your ground, and other parts of it are very broken. But there's always, I love a redemption song. Like I love that, something will go on and it will always be better. There will be a way through things. And that's kind of like my little love letter to the world, is to just like dig into some of those lyrics. And I really believe like Broken Things is a beautiful song about how all of us we're all broken, all of us, but we're all beautiful because of it. Shattered Light is beautiful.
The whole EP is worth digging into. It's really excellent. It's called I Got Something to Say. You can find out more about our guest work by visiting LeanneBinderMusic.com. Leanne, this has been an absolute treat. Before we let you go, though, we got one last question for you.
Sure.
Do you have any last tips for the indie creators out there to help them move their careers forward?
I think one of the biggest things you can do is to not wait for somebody to do it for you. I think it's really important that as much as you can, you educate yourself. I think you need to be forgiving with yourself and laugh at yourself when you fall, because you're gonna, and that's okay, because you will learn and you'll never make that mistake again. But still, at the end of the day, you get to put artist or musician or creator as who you are as a human. And that is a gift in itself. So try not to get too caught up in the end game, and understand that not a lot of people get to do what you do. And that's kind of just how I live my life. I work towards goals, but allow the dream to be big enough that you're not missing a door that's opening that maybe you wouldn't have looked at before.
Excellent
I don't know.
Perspective. Our thanks to Leanne Binder and Katie Zaccardi. Thanks to producer Lauren. And thanks to all of you viewers and listeners for checking out Break the Business. Mwah! We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Break the business.